Armarouge, more like I've seen your boobs. Ceruledge, more like
my nan's dead. So that don't matter.
Hey everybody, Ace Trader Liam here. Welcome back to another episode of Form Fight. For those who aren't aware, Form Fight is a series where we take a look at a Pokemon with more than one form, a branched evolution like we're looking at today, or counterpart Pokemon. We have a look at the differences between the Pokemon in question and we try and work out which one is the best. And so we can see these Pokemon in action on the battlefield. We also have a Metronome battle just for a little bit of fun. But with all that out of the way, let's have a look at today's challengers. Today on Form Fight, we're going to be looking at the branched evolutions of Charcadet, which are Mega Man and Cecil from Final Fantasy IV. Oh no, wait, sorry, I mean Armarouge and Ceruledge. To get yourself an Armarouge, simply use the item Auspicious Armor on your Charcadet, and it will evolve into Armarouge. And yes, it is Armarouge and not Armarouge, because Rouge is R-O-U-G-E, and Rogue would be R-O-G-U-E. Thank you very much. Similarly, to get Ceruledge, use the item Malicious Armor on your Charcadet, and it will evolve into Ceruledge. The Auspicious Armor and Malicious Armor can only be obtained in Scarlet and Violet respectively. However, each version's armor can be sent to the opposite version by giving it to a Pokemon to hold and trading that Pokemon over. But what makes these branched evolutions of Charcadet so different? Let's take a look. According to the Pokedex, Armarouge stands at 1.5 meters tall and weighs 85 kilograms. Its Pokedex entries say Armarouge evolved through the use of a set of armor that belonged to a distinguished warrior. This Pokemon is incredibly loyal. This Pokemon clads itself in armor that has been fortified by psychic and fire energy, and it shoots blazing fireballs. Ceruledge, according to the Pokedex, is 1.6 meters tall and weighs 62 kilograms. Its Pokedex information says the fiery blades on its arms burn fiercely with the lingering resentment of a sword wielder who fell before accomplishing their goal. An old set of armor steeped in grudges caused this Pokemon's evolution. Ceruledge cuts its enemies to pieces without mercy. Appearance-wise, both these Pokemon look like two blokes in suits of armor with their heads on fire, with Armarouge having red and yellow armor with oversized shoulder coverings and red flames on its head, and Ceruledge having blue and purple armor with swords for arms, which must make peeing really difficult, and pink and blue flames atop its head. Their shiny forms might just be among the worst shinies in all of Scarlet and Violet. They basically stay the exact same colors, except Armarouge's red eyes with yellow flames turn light blue, and Ceruledge's pink eyes with white flames turn red with yellow flames. These really are terrible shinies. Like, how hard would it have been to give Armarouge Ceruledge's colors and vice versa? Scarlet and Violet shinies are very hit or miss, and these two are two massive misses. Now, before we take a look at their typing and stats, let's take a moment to say a huge thank you to our wonderful Ace Trainer Ultra XL members, who are Bro Metapod, Purple Dragonair, Ghost Lupin, Andros Lefay, Sin City Yeti, Mumbai Cobra, Gear Overlord, TJ the Nerd, JWatt8554, Night Angel, Blue Thunder 2021, Lucas Gates, Kingly Gamer YT, and Substitute Shinigami. Thank you so much, all of you, for supporting the channel as much as you do. Now, let's have a look at these Pokemon's typing, weaknesses, and resistances. First up is Armarouge, who's a dual-type fire and psychic Pokemon. This makes it weak to ground, rock, ghost, water, and dark type attacks. Armarouge resists fighting, steel, fire, grass, psychic, ice, and fairy type attacks and has no immunities. Ceruledge, on the other hand, is a dual type fire and ghost Pokemon, which makes it weak to, once again, ground, rock, ghost, water, and dark. However, Ceruledge resists poison, bug, steel, fire, grass, ice, and fairy type attacks,
with the bug resistance being a quad resistance.
And of course, with it being a ghost type, Ceruledge is also immune to both normal and fighting type moves. Now let's have a look at the stats and abilities of these branched evolutions. Being branched evolutions, Armarouge and Ceruledge share the same base stats, just rearranged, with Armarouge being the more physically bulky special attacker and Ceruledge being the slightly faster physical attacker. They each have their own signature moves, with Armarouge having Armor Cannon, which is basically a fire type special attacking version of close combat, in that it's 120 base power, 100% accuracy, and lowers Armarouge's defense and special defense by 1 stage each time it's used. Ceruledge, on the other hand, gets Bitter Blade, which is effectively a fire type version of Drain Punch, in that it's a 90 base power, 100% accuracy, physical fire type attack that restores Ceruledge's HP by half the damage it inflicted on the opponent. As for their abilities, they actually share the same primary and hidden abilities, which are Flash Fire and Weak Armor respectively. Flash Fire powers up their Fire-type moves when they're hit by Fire-type moves, which is fine for giving these Pokemon extra firepower. Get it? Firepower. But it does basically depend on a well-timed switch-in, and if your opponent resists fire or is immune to fire-type attacks, it really doesn't make a huge impact. Their shared hidden ability, Weak Armor, on the other hand, is a lot more useful. These two Pokemon aren't the fastest things around, so being able to have your opponent increase their speed so that you can take full advantage of their excellent offensive stats is a great option. And don't worry too much about the drop in defense, because these Pokemon aren't really sticking around on the field for very long regardless. Now it's time for me to decide which of these two Pokemon I prefer, and honestly, I do lean towards Ceruledge. Like, I'm not a big fan of humanoid Pokemon, but I will admit that Ceruledge is the cooler looking of the two, with the sword arms and the kind of Dark Knight armor. I really like that, and I think Armarouge looks a bit too almost cartoony, I guess, which is a weird thing to not like about a Pokemon, but here we are. And Ceruledge clearly has the better typing because these two Pokemon have the exact same weaknesses, but Ceruledge has like an extra resistance that is a 4 times resistance, and it has 2 immunities, so that's a big advantage. And not to mention that while Armarouge's signature ability is really cool because we love moves like close combat and we love powerful moves, I just think Ceruledge's is that much better because it gives you some HP back, and that's really important in battle. Anytime you can bring your HP back up after it's already been taken down, that's a really good thing. Healing is great. But of course, it's not just up to me to decide which is my favorite, it's up to you guys to decide which is your favorite. But before you do, let's see these Pokemon in action on the battlefield. It's time for the Metronome battle. But of course, before that, let's have a word from our wonderful sponsors, G Fuel. Yes, of course, G Fuel is the wonderful energy formula with barely any calories, 0 sugar, and a whole heap of wonderful flavors like my favorite flavor of all time, which is currently back available. Nemesis Tea's back, baby. Oh, I've missed you. Mate, Nemesis Tea is just my favorite flavor of G Fuel ever, and I'm so glad it's back. And the best part is that whilst you normally get 20% off G Fuel using code ACE, and you'll still get 20% off site-wide using code ACE, right now, so many energy tubs, including Nemesis Tea, are 30% off when you use code ACE. It's the holiday period. Get some for your friends, get some for your family, spread the wonder of G Fuel and spread the wonder of code ACE, and help support this channel at the same time. Get yourself 30% off Nemesis Tea. Stock up. Who knows when they're going to take it away again? But of course, remember, G Fuel is for over 18s only because it contains caffeine, and children don't need to be anywhere near caffeine. They're annoying enough as it is, and because it contains caffeine, drink it responsibly. Don't be a dickhead. Now then, of course, remember, this Metronome battle doesn't bloody mean anything. It doesn't determine who's better than the other. It's just so we can see fun stuff happening in Pokemon. Remember when Pokemon was fun? I do need to point out before the battle starts that these Pokemon have max IVs in all stats, 0 EVs in all stats. They're holding leper berries, you know, just so that they don't run out of PP. They've got neutral natures, and of course they have the same abilities. I've gone with their primary abilities, Flash Fire, and I know that means that no fire type moves will be able to happen in the battle, but I think that's going to make the battle last a little bit longer than if we used Weak Armor, because with Weak Armor it'd just be like 2 moves and the Pokemon are done. So I think I've made the best decision. But basically, any advantage or disadvantage any of these Pokemon get are going to come from their typing and their base stats. Everything else is all up to the Metronome. Let's go.
So here we go, you asked, and of course I delivered. Armarouge versus Ceruledge, just 4 blokes, just battling out on the field, you know, just 4 lads. Right, here we see the regular Ceruledge starting things off with Psy, Shield, Bash, not very effective on the opposing Armarouge there, the shiny Armarouge. And there's a defense rise by 1 stage for Ceruledge. Now over to shiny Ceruledge, who's going to fire off a Cross Poison for a decent bit of chip damage there on, again, the shiny Armarouge. They doubled up, and now regular Armarouge will fire back with Incinerate, literally firing back, because that will activate Flash Fire. Now, Flash Fire, I know, was a controversial choice to give everybody over Weak Armor, but Weak Armor would make this battle really short, I reckon. Here's shiny Armarouge, though, going for Confuse Ray onto shiny Ceruledge there. So let's see if that comes into play at any point. Let's see if shiny Ceruledge hits itself in confusion. Now over to regular Ceruledge there, who is going to go for Flare Blitz, but that won't be effective at all on Armarouge because of Flash Fire. No more Fire-type moves, lads. Come on. There's the shiny Ceruledge, who is confused, but is going to ignore it and go straight for the Metronome. What's it got on its mind here? It's going to go for Self-Destruct, which won't damage its partner, so it's not a terrible play. Big damage there to regular Armarouge and to the shiny Armarouge there. Shiny Armarouge not looking so fresh right now. What a great play, though. Here's Armarouge, regular Armarouge with the Metronome going for Esper Wing. It's going to have same type attack bonus behind it. Big damage to Ceruledge there, and a speed increase, which I believe makes regular Armarouge the fastest thing on the field right now. Shiny Armarouge is going to go with Metal Sound and lower the special defense of the regular Ceruledge by 2 stages there. Not looking good for Ceruledge because it's against a special attacker. Here comes Dig from the regular Armarouge there, so it's going to hide underground until the next turn and then deal some physical damage. Here's the Ceruledge firing off a Dragon Tail onto the shiny Armarouge and almost takes it down. It's got 4 hit points left. What will it do in retaliation? Shiny Armarouge goes for Growl and lowers the attack stat of Ceruledge. Ceruledge is in a difficult position right now. There's the dig from the regular Armarouge, but of course, because it's a physical attack from an Armarouge and the defense increase from the Social Bash earlier, Ceruledge doesn't take much damage. Here's a Rapid Spin, though. It's enough to take down the shiny Armarouge and give Ceruledge a speed increase by 1 stage. So not a bad play at all by Ceruledge, which means it gets to start the next turn as well. So here comes Ceruledge with Simple Beam, changing Flash Fire to Simple on the Armarouge there, which if Ceruledge can pull off a Fire-type attack, I guess would be a great play there. Here comes Armarouge, though, who is going to go for Bleak Wind Storm, and it takes down Ceruledge just like that. That was quite a short Form Fight Metronome battle, but just think how short it would have been if these Pokemon would have had weak armor. It would have been like a minute long. So well done to the Armarouge team. You've done great.
So you've heard what I've got to say, you've seen these Pokemon on the battlefield, now it's time for you to make your decision. Which of the 2 branched evolutions of Charcadet is your favourite? Is it Armarouge or is it Ceruledge? Let me know down in the comments and explain to everybody why your pick is the absolute best. And that'll do it for another episode of Form Fight. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, share the video with a friend, become a member to support the channel, and remember, members can vote on what the next Form Fight's going to be. Use code ACE for 20% off G Fuel, and don't forget 30% off most tubs for the entirety of December. And until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.